Oh, the mic is yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Natalie, and welcome, welcome to all my friends, my sheroes. I'm so honored to be speaking with you today. Friends, all of us have on our bucket list, our wish list, our dream, a goal. A goal that right now we think I'll get to it one day. Well, those of you who heard my Just Say Yes speech some time ago know that you heard my speech about how my saying yes got me to all those accolades you just heard in my life. Well, right now, I'm going to ask you to know that this is not going to be a speech. This is going to be a workshop. Because if saying yes is to something is one of your goals, but you haven't done it yet, at the end of this session, we're hoping you can jump over that and say, yes, now I'm into it. So let's get started. I don't have my chat up, so if you want to speak to me, please just shout it out or write or give me a reaction, whatever. Friends, let's get started with your thinking. If nobody could judge you, what would you try this year? What would you try this year? Just think about that. Because the next question is, what have you talked yourself out of more than once? Talked yourself out of more than once. And when's the last time you felt truly excited about what's next? These are thoughts that we usually have hidden in our brains. Don't think about it, but I want you to think about it now. Those three questions. We're going to move on now. This is going to be about your yes year. This is not about coming up with something that you can do in 2 months and then forget about it. We're talking about something that you wanted to say yes to, but for whatever reason, you've held back, you've been afraid, you don't believe, people say no, forget about that. This is your yes year. And now I'm going to give you some tactics to make this your yes year. Friends, this is going to be an abbreviated discussion, so therefore you're going to see parts of it in which I say, now write about 10 of these, but there's no time to do that. I've passed this presentation on to Lisette, so if you need reminders on what I'm about to talk about today, please feel free to get it from Lisette. Your goal can be a small goal, it can be a huge goal, but it's your goal. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. So the objective today is to take these 5 tools, and they're going to be abbreviated, to be able to come up with saying yes to your goal and have that first step. Now, some of you say, well, all I want to do is, or nobody cares if I, or what if I, forget all that. This is your goal. It's your right size. It can be big, it can be small. You can say, for example, I want to be a circus clown. That's your goal. I'm going to talk about how you can do that. Anything you want, from small all the way up to significant. So here we go now. We're going to have 5 tools to get you started. First of all, it says list 10 moments in the last year in which you felt more yourself. We don't have time to get all 10. But would all of you write at least three goals, at least 3 items, moments in which you felt like you were yourself? And I can give you some hints as to what I put for myself for this number. One, I love giving presentations like this. I think, yes, this is the real me. Giving presentations that can help others grow. Giving presentations that people can keep points for the rest of their lives. That makes me feel like myself. On a smaller vein, I had lunch with a friend a couple of weeks ago, and she didn't know it. It was her birthday coming up. And after we got through eating, I had our server bring a big box that was gift wrapped. It was her birthday present. Her eyes lit up, and that made me feel so good that I was making her so happy. That's how I felt like my true self. I also had a Facebook write up about one of my friends. He was all dressed up, and I put out there, doesn't he look good, this wonderful looking gentleman? And somebody sarcastically responded with, oh, he's a sellout. I hit the ceiling, immediately got back and say, how dare you talk about my friends like that? My point here is I'm a supporter. I could have just said nothing, but no, the right thing to do was to speak up, and I did that. Those are 3 examples of how I felt like my true self. Can we take about 2 minutes and all of you write down at least 3 moments in which you feel like you were yourself? 2 minutes. Write it down. And I'm going to ask you to share some of it with us. And by the way, you only need to share what you want to share. You're not obligated. This is a free judgment zone. No judgment. So please write those 3. And I've got my clock here. I think I could make it 1 minute. Thirty seconds left. Twenty seconds. Okay, time's up. Is there anybody who would like to share with me one of the items they wrote down in which they felt like themselves? I don't have my chat up, so somebody will have to just speak, I guess. Yes, Jessica.
Good morning. When I first time this year when I felt like myself was when I was created and ran a new book club, getting back to myself. That's something that at one point in time meant a lot to me, and so getting that started, just sitting down, designing it, and rolling it out was back to me.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there one other person?
Hi. For
Yes.
me, it,
Yes.
it is number one, it is volunteering at a food pantry. Number two, volunteering at a shelter for children and women.
Wow.
And then number three was being on the local news for the food pantry.
Whoa, that's what I'm
And had
talking
I
about.
had I not said yes to volunteering at the food pantry, I would have never been on the news.
See? Thank you. Thank you for that. It's a beautiful, beautiful service. Well, friends, for those of you and thank you for volunteering. Those of you who have written down your when you felt like your true self, look for the thread that runs through those three things. What do you see that's consistent? In my case, I would say I'm a supporter, I'm a connector, and that's what makes me feel like my true self. So do that. And then this is where we're going to take a shortcut here because instead of narrowing down your values where so you can see them daily, put at least one. If you were to paste it on the mirror every morning, what would you see and say, yes, that is really me? So that's something for you to do in the future after this presentation. So now let's talk about your energy. Tool two. We've seen out what your values are. We've talked about your values, and you don't sell out with those values. Now let's talk about your energy. What fuels you and what drains you? This is also something you will do after today. Track 1 to 10 every few hours in 1 week. 1 means, oh, I hate this. And number 10 would be, yes, I could do this all day. I want you to, after today, go ahead and do that for 1 week and then mark what you were doing during each high point and each low point. We're finding out where do you get your energy? Where do you get what drains you? What do you allow to drain you? Then look for a pattern. This is what you'll do after today. Look for the pattern. What shows up again and again on the highs? Because for me, if I say yes, that means that's something that really means something and I'm moving forward. And if you have time to write it now, please go ahead and get started. But trap yourself. And the example in this blue box here was make it a grid. Hour of the day, activity, and your energy score. 1 being low and 10 being high. A lot of women are dealing with a lot of lows, but they don't say anything about it or do anything about it. Well, that's life. It doesn't have to be. Now we're going to visualize. Let's assume that you've said yes, you've worked on your goal, you're making things happen. Write a note to yourself from the future. Dear me, this year I finally let that sentence finish it itself. Because once you do that, and this is also for the future, go ahead and write a paragraph from your future self describing the year. In other words, this is your real wish list based on your goal. What have you made happen that applies to your values, that apply to your energy? What have you made happen? And then pull out that one goal in case you have more than one in there that keeps you saying thank you for yourself. Working at the, as we just heard from Alvita, that was an awesome description of what you've done. When you write from yourself, look how many souls you've saved. Look how many people you've helped. Write down what it meant to you to have that done. Remember, if you need a reminder, you can get these slides. Now, here's what usually stops a lot of us. List your top 3 steps to reach your goal from today. Now, all of you, I'm sure, have a goal. It could be a Toastmasters goal. I'm going to get my DTM. It can be a life goal. I'm going to travel to someplace, whatever. I'm going to work in the food kitchen. I'm going to do something. But write down what steps it took you or it's going to take you to meet that goal. What's it going to take to do that? And for each thing you write down, once again, it scares me to death or I absolutely love it. Now, fear means feeling, that's how I say, feeling, oh, I'm drawing the acronym as reality. Fear stands, for anybody I'm talking about, fear stands for feeling something as reality. Oh, I'm just drawing a blank. But anyway, don't let fear stop you. Friends, I've known my times in corporate America, I've seen top managers ask for somebody to volunteer to do X, Y, Z. The men say yes, just like that, without a second thought. But traditionally, and this is what my research has shown, women tend to say, oh, how much time is it going to take? Who are my shareholders? What are my hours? When do I have vacation? What's my salary? Men just say yes. But women, we're different. I want you to change that. Now, tool 5 is for small bets. Let's assume that you got your goal in place. You know what you want to do. Test it. Test it. Shrink it to a 2-week experiment. It could be a class, a trial, a conversation, but shrink it to test the waters with it. Put your toe in the water. Am I on the right track with this? And then run that experiment and pay attention to how it feels. How does it feel? For example, you say you want to be a DTM, fine. Then you know you got to be an area director, at least as far as the leadership team is concerned. Do I really want to do that? Talk to people who are doing it as your small step and say, what's it like? How much time in the day does it take? Whatever your questions are based on what your goal is. Then once you decide to test it, because that was a Toastmaster example, most of your examples are probably not Toastmasters examples, double down and try it. And they think, oh, what was I thinking? No. Adjust it. Adjust it if it's still your goal. Or just try a different test completely to see, can you make this work? I said yes to it, but can I make this work? So very quickly, what we've done is we've discussed what are your values. And keep in mind, I said this is a short version. This takes more time to go through. What are your values? Whatever you do, don't sell out. That's the beauty of saying yes. Don't sell out. Don't mess up your values to get to a certain goal. Your energy, what drains you, what fuels you. Ideally, we're looking for what fuels you, because if it drains you, you have to figure out, am I going to let this continue to drain me, or am I going to step up to it and change how this affects my life? The example I gave for the future, that's just a fun thing to do, is look in the future and say, I did it, and then write a note to yourself and say how that year has gone for you. You're making it up because this is how you want it to go. Go ahead and put that together. Your excitement check. Are you nervous, or are you excited, or do you dread it? You got to figure that for your goal. And then, of course, you want to take a small test just to commit to see, yep, I'm on track with this, or no, I'm not. Now, friends, here's what we hear all the time. I'm going to repeat this because we as women tend to let this prevent us from saying yes. I don't have time. I've got these kids, I've got to run around, I'm my parents with me, I'm in a sandwich. You've got all these reasons to say I don't have time. But you don't need more time. You need a smaller first bet. So once you put your toe in the water for that goal, get started with it. Don't talk yourself out of it saying, I don't have time. You know, it's funny how if somebody gets sick and they're away from the job for a while, the job just doesn't get done. But when they come back, they always have time to get it done. You don't need more time. You know how to figure out your time. So don't use that as an excuse. What if I fail? We're always afraid of failing. What does it mean if I fail? Well, guess what? If you take a small step towards it and you see that you're failing, test it and make adjustments. Take it and make adjustments. Don't let it stop you. Keep that word of the day, yes, in front of you the whole time so that you know you're going to keep on going. The other popular thought is, what will people think? Well, my friends, this is your goal, not theirs. Please, please don't be swayed because you have a goal that's important to you and somebody else wants to poo-poo that idea. Harump, how dare they? This is your goal. Hopefully you'll find some support for it. If I can just be very frank right now, I find in a lot of cases, well, I'll give you an example. With my first husband, of which I've had three, with my first husband, his uncle liked big women. So he married Josephine. This is the true story. Josephine gained a lot of weight. He loved her to death. They had about 3 or 4 kids. He was very happy with her. Well, the doctor finally told her, Josephine, you got to lose some of this weight. It's hard on your heart. It's hot on your knees. So she started losing the weight for the sake of her health. Her husband wanted to leave her because she lost the weight. So what do? In her case, she gained all the weight back because she didn't want to lose him. Ha! It was her health we're talking about. So know when to say yes. And for her, it was the right decision. She didn't want to lose her husband. Could have been me. Baby, don't let the door kick you in the back on the way out, honey. But for her, that's what she was concerned about. So what do people think? It was her husband, and she wanted to make sure he was always happy. I don't know how you think about that, but that's true life. And finally, I don't know where to start. Well, based on what your goal is, start with a small version. Clarity comes from doing, not thinking. So I'm going to pause at this point and ask, does anybody have a goal right now in which you can follow? Or you've been saying any of those 1, 2, 3, 4 things. I don't have time. What if I fail? What do people think? I don't know where to start. Do you or do you know someone who is stopping themselves from saying yes because of these excuses? Anybody? Do I see Natalie's hand up? Thank you. Before you leave today, who would like to share her goal? You haven't gotten started with it yet, but you know you have a goal. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but does anybody have a goal in which they want to just say, this is what my goal is? And we can tell you how to go ahead and get started with it. Anybody? None of you have goals?
I do have a goal.
Oh,
You
please go ahead. I can't see everybody. Go ahead.
know, that's because my
Hi,
goal,
Lauren.
Sharon, my goal this year is to get back to weightlifting. I used to actually lift weights back in my heyday,
Uh-huh.
and now I'm
Ah,
trying to do it safely. Now that I'm in my 30s and such, so I want to make sure I'm doing it right so I can build those strong bones that I need as I continue
yes.
to be uh, get more seasoned, as we say in the South. So we don't say old, we say seasoned.
I love
as,
it.
as I get older. So now I'm trying to figure out how to do
How to
that
do that
and not break the bank either because they will
at the
keep
same
you.
time. Lauren, is there anything preventing you right now from getting into weightlifting?
I had old injuries from when I was a kid,
Oh,
surgery. So I have to get with people who know what they're talking about and not a psycho person.
so if you get started, what would the small step be to get started back with it?
I mean, I could probably start small with
Can't hear you.
I could probably start small with maybe little weights. I know I want the big ones, but I got these little weights sitting in the corner.
Start with little weights. Okay, that's the way to do it. Okay, and then keep it up for a year, and then it'll be part of your yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, Lauren. Is there anyone else who has a goal, small or big, they want to share? And I got partial gallery, I can't see everybody. Yes, I see Martina.
Yeah, I think I want to go with kind of like strategic leadership. And it's
Hmm.
not just inside of work, it's also outside in my normal life too. But I'm thinking about saying yes to stepping out from behind the scenes.
Yes.
I'm going to actually start using my voice and owning my impact and just allowing myself to be seen as a leader. I
Hmm.
definitely tend to be behind the scenes, trying to connect everything, getting people
Hmm.
done, but I think it's time to just step out of the shadows and lead.
And make it easy. And what will it take to get you started?
I don't know. I need y'all help.
Well, we've got time. Madam Timer, I don't
Mhm.
have my timing up. How much time do we
Um,
have? I want to hear what she has to say so we can help her.
maybe I guess like okay, so we can start at work. Maybe
Okay.
I keep a journal of um each time I spoke up, maybe each week I just speak up during a call. And I do lead calls, just the nature of the work, but I still sit back and let people navigate things, but maybe I can step in more and engage. And then I think doing a journal will help me kind of keep track of it and see the
Yes.
progress.
So your real self wants to be able to speak up whenever you need to see the need to speak up.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that and
Thank
good
you.
luck with it. And next year, we know you'll be speaking up all year because you're saying yes today to that
Yes,
goal. Yes.
yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a third person who has a goal they want to share with us?
I have a goal.
Oh, thank you, Josephina. What is it?
I'm in a stage of my life where I have left a 20-year career. I am semi-retired. I left a part-time job, and I want to reinvent myself as an AI consultant.
Yes. Now, what does it take to get started?
Well, I've already started taking training courses
Mm-hmm.
and also looking at different ways of being certified.
Mm-hmm.
And increasing my network pool of
Mm-hmm.
people who are in that field and
Mm-hmm.
what would it take to what different avenues can you take it? There's so many different ways that you can take it. And that's where I'm in right now, trying to decide what training program I want to be and
Mm-hmm.
where I want to take this reinvention of myself in this stage of my life. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to stop working for the to the 9 to 5 and start
Mm-hmm.
working for myself and
Mm-hmm.
invest in myself in that
Mm-hmm.
way. And it's something I've never done. I've always been a person that had a job, always been a person that went to the office 9 to 5. I'm an event strategist.
Uh-huh.
I did that for 20 years.
Wow.
So I am in the midst of reinventing myself, and I just turned 60.
Girl, you look good. Right? So it looks like the real you is being the real you and not being what somebody else wants you to be. You are claiming it.
I would say that I'm open to change. I'm
Okay.
open to evolving. I'm open to claiming what comes my way, whether that be good or bad. I'm
Uh-huh.
open to also being flexible and saying, if this doesn't work for me, I'm okay with it.
Perfect.
I'm open to happiness, peace of mind,
Yes.
things that are I didn't think of when I was going into an office 9 to 5 and having to struggle with someone controlling my time, my
Yes.
energy, and my talents. I'm
Yes.
in possession of my own talents, and I want to be able to direct how I want to move in that field as opposed to what I've been doing for 20 years, and also
Wow.
kind of knowing that as a minority, is not very appealing to me. People don't take me seriously. People have a lot
Hmm.
of stereotypes about my abilities and what I can do and what I cannot do. And I don't have anything to prove to anybody but myself.
Hmm. That is, I had a flash at Hidden Figures, and we were talking about, remember the movie Hidden Figures, in which they didn't want the black woman to talk at all. After all, could she possibly know? And she's the one that saved the whole space program. What you just said, Josephine, I think is probably in all of our hearts, especially if it's minority women. We know that people don't want to take us seriously. I demand it. I demand respect. And
I
if they
do
don't like it, to heck with them. So there we go.
I do recall one time I was in a meeting and I'm an idea, I'm a creative. I, you know, turn things around. I ask questions. I say, whoa, what did you think about this? What did you think about that? And I was set aside and I was told that I asked too many questions. And I said, excuse me? So what I did, I said, oh, if that's my style and I ask too many questions, I'm too curious and I want to grow, I'm gonna turn it into my leadership style. So my leadership style is I call it leadership through curiosity.
I like it. That's
Yes.
the real you. Yes.
Yeah.
Leadership
So
curiosity.
leadership through
Through
curiosity.
curiosity. Yes. Oh
You're
my God.
asking questions and learning and growing in ways that you're not afraid to go to. So yeah, that just a lot of different experiences that I've had.
Yes.
When I felt that I was not appreciated in, I would say, the traditional workforce.
And I thank you for that input, Josephina, because I've also had a flashback. One thing I despise women doing, and I've seen it when I was at IBM, corporate women in a boardroom, for example, saying, this might sound like a stupid question, but I need to know. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just ask the question. And there we are, as opposed to putting themselves down. So I hope none of you are doing that, just to know. Well, if anybody has to raise their hand for one last goal, otherwise I'll move on. Josephine, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was priceless. So all of you should be saying to yourselves, after you get your goal in place, this year I'm going to, and fill in that goal. Understand your values, understand your energy, what makes you happy, what brings you down. What are you going to do with it? Start small with your goal. My first bet is, and then I also forgot to mention an accountability partner. It helps to have somebody who's working with you to make sure you're doing what you said you're going to do. Be it a mentor or someone who needs to just tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you're kind of behind in what you said you were going to do. So friends, thank you so much for my short time in here. Remember, it was a workshop as opposed to a speech. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm going to stop sharing now. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I do. I have
Yes,
a question.
please.
There was a part of your slide where you said, and I would love for you to, I don't know for the question, I just want you to speak a little bit on this because I just feel like it's something I'm struggling with and maybe somebody else might be. It says, you don't need certainty to start. You
Yeah.
don't need certainty to start. Would you speak to me and the rest of us about
Oh, thank you
that?
for that question, for sure. We might tend to doubt ourselves. What if? That's back to the what if, because you're not certain what are they going to think of you? Am I going to be able to do this? Is it going to cost me too much money? What if? It's just a matter of just taking a leap of faith and just doing it. Just doing it. You might fail. But nonetheless, in your heart, you know you took that chance because it was important, because you said yes to it. If you want to be certain, and matter of fact, that's the example I gave of women versus men when they're asked to do something in business. Men just say yes without thinking of it. Women want the certainty. If I take this role, how much time is it going to take? I have family I need to be home with. I got to be home. I have to travel. I have to do this. I have to do that. Am I going to have time to do all this? There's no certainty. And I saw it for myself at IBM when there was a guy named Rodney, not his real name. Our big manager said, I need somebody who can do this certain task. And Rodney, can you do it? Rodney said, yes. And I said, Rodney couldn't hit the, what? Rodney? He knew to go out and find the people who could make it happen. He knew how to build a team. He didn't know how to do it, but he said yes. No woman in that room said, yes, I'll do it, because we want certainty. Men don't require certainty. It's a general statement that they just jump forward and do it, and they fall flat on their face. I tried. Whereas we as women, we're more sensitive, and we really want to make sure that we make sure certainty that this is going to work for me. And I've had women bosses who have just been spectacular, coming to the job saying, these are the hours I'm going to work. I have 3 kids. I have to be home by 6 o'clock. She didn't ask. She said, this is what I have to do. Thank you for that. I hope that answers the question, Natalie. There is no certainty.
Beautifully.
Okay,
Beautifully so.
Thank you.
Navigating uncertainty.
Uncertainty, yeah, you got to do it. Know something about it going in. Like I can't be an airline pilot, just know going in. Any other questions for me? I love that question. All right, I'm going to pick somebody at random and ask them what they learned from what I just said today. How about Yvonne Marquez? Yvonne, what have you learned from what I've said today? Yep, you're on mute. There we go.
I'm gonna go on my hike. Mute because you don't need a hike.
Did Yvonne say something? Let's move down to Alvita. Alvita, what have you learned today?
Wonderful questions. Wonderful. Oh my goodness, so much. Getting started. That is probably one of the biggest things. What I loved was getting started without even really having to understand what the outcome will be.
Yes.
And that's a big one. I will take some chances with certain things, but I guess I'm 50-50. I'll take the chance, but I'm also looking for the outcome and wanting to know what is this going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
There's that uncertainty, but having more confidence now and not worrying about the uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
just going and just saying, okay, all right. Here we go.
We're going to do it.
Here we
Yes.
go.
And thank you so much, Alvita. And I'll end by saying, those of you who heard my Yes, Just Say Yes speech some months ago, my whole life has been saying yes with no certainty at all. I started by saying I had humble beginnings, working class family. I wore hoochie mama clothes. I didn't know anything about anything, but I was asked to interview at IBM. I thought, me? Yes. And that's how my speech started. And from that point on, it was yes, 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 all the way to boards of directors, my friends, boards of directors, including Toastmasters International Board of Director, just by saying yes. On that happy note, I will turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster for the day. Thank you.
Wonderful round of applause. Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank
Hey,
you so much.